Merry Christmas to everybody out there in YouTube land, and hope you guys are having a fantastic Christmas. You're enjoying your turkey dinners, or however you do your celebrate your Christmas. We did have a turkey dinner made by my better half. It was amazing. This was her first turkey that she ever made, and it came out fantastic. We had the whole thing, stuffing, like the veggies, the gravy, the whole works. I am totally full right now. So you also watched one of my Christmas gifts, and we watched everything. We went through all the features except for the commentary. That's the only thing that we didn't watch in this was commentary, but we'll watch that another time. But I did watch all the features on this one here and the movie itself, so I can give you a thorough review of this one. And the movie was Remo Williams' The Adventure Begins, part of my Arrow Christmas gifts. Now, man, this is good. I have a nostalgia factor for this film, which makes it hard for me to like review without. I got to really take myself out and like actually talk about the film itself, because I really do love this film. The movie, start off with the film's score is amazing. Craig Safin did the score for Remo Williams. He used a synthesizer, full-on orchestra, a complete huge orchestra, and he did use Korean orchestra as well. He really wanted to get the feel there. You wanted to represent all aspects of the film. You wanted Guy Hamilton's big set pieces represented. You wanted the Korean aspect of the film represented. It was very important for them to actually be true to the roots of the story. Now, if you're not familiar with Remo Williams, or if you haven't seen the film, there's a series of books, story books. I used to read them when I was younger. There was a lot of pulp books that were big back in my day. There was Mac Bolan, the Executioner, of course, which unfortunately has not been made into a series yet. It's very much like The Punisher. If you've ever read The Punisher comic book, Mac Bolan, a lot like that. I gotta go Google or Wiki afterwards and find out which one of them came first, because, yeah, a lot like that. Remo Williams is a much different character, whereas Mac Bolan was an uber violent character with, death and destruction, like, followed him everywhere. Mike Shane was as the character was more of a detective type character. Remo Williams was more of he was aggressive, and he learns to be, to not pick up the gun, or to pick up the gun in disarmament. He learns to use his body as his weapon, to not kill unless he needs to kill. To when assassination comes, it's the people that really deserve it, and nobody gets. And it's basically it's the flawless assassination. It's not like going and getting shot in the head. It happens in a way that looks like an accident. And that being said, it was going to be really hard to film the series, because we had like a great cast of characters here to work with. First off, there's the character of Chun, who was like this 80-ish-year-old Korean martial arts master who teaches Remo Williams that basically the martial arts, this like mystical martial arts where you kind of like dodge, like you can learn to dodge bullets, you learn all the pressure points, and so when they went looking for somebody for the role, they had one person in mind, and he wasn't Korean, which when he was approached first, Joel Grey, he was not sure about doing the role, because he actually turned it down flat out before he even read the script, because he didn't want to insult the Asian community, and it's understandable. But after he read the script, he was very interested in seeing if it could be done. He went to a dialect coach to make sure that he had the dialect down perfectly. He actually spoke with Carl Fullerton, who did the makeup. Also worked on, I think it was Friday 13th Part 2. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure that he took over from Tom Savini when Tom Savini couldn't come back from Part 1. That Fullerton took over from Part 2 and did some amazing makeup work in there. Fullerton's an incredible makeup artist who worked and was great friends with the great makeup legend Dick Smith. So when he got to see what Fullerton could do with the makeup, to actually make Joel Grey basically be lost beneath this makeup to look like an actually 80-year-old Korean character, he knew that this could be done, and be done respectfully. There were some things at the time, there was a little bit of backlash, but I think as people got to see the film, they got to see exactly what Joel Grey had done, and people that the backlash mostly came from a lot of people that really, I'm going to say, didn't actually watch the film, and didn't know what had went into it. The music itself had a Korean orchestra in the score. It was incredible, and the Chun's music itself is a Korean folk song, kind of like done, and it's really well done. Joel Grey is completely lost into this character, and it's amazing. He got Fullerton got nominated for an Academy Award for the makeup, and if honestly, if Remo Williams had been a huge hit that year, Fullerton would have had that award. But because it wasn't the huge hit that they had expected it to be, it did not get the award that it deserved. And that's the way the Oscars work. That's the Oscars are pretty much a popularity contest based on box office and stuff like that. And you know, the little movies, those aren't the ones that are getting the Oscars. Remo Williams was a very cool, very different, very unique film. And the time of the 80s when everything was all adrenaline and violence, and there was like a whole slant of like these like huge, massive action films, like Commando with, you know, high body counts and stuff like that. A film like Remo Williams, which took a very different take on everything. It had there was more humor to it. The characters were more, it was a more fleshed out, kind of almost like a buddy thing between Chun and Remo Williams, which you would get to see later on, like basically in like later in the Lethal Weapon movies and stuff like that. It would become more prevalent in the later 80s and the 90s that you'd get to see like these type of roles. Remo Williams was actually very much ahead of its time when it came to this. The set pieces were done fantastically, and some by Guy Hamilton. The Guy Hamilton did a lot of the James Bond films, and a lot of the really good James Bond films. So you got to see a lot of these kind of Bondian set pieces, which was really cool. But we didn't have that, like, we had the action, but without the massive body count. It was well done. Kate Mulgrew does an important role, but I wouldn't say it's not a big role. I guess it's the main female character, and she's, I think overall throughout most of the film she plays it like as a stronger, more, you know, take no nonsense type of female character, and that's really well done. The movie really took like a lot of lengths to like be more modern than actually it probably deserved at the time. The film did not do as good as it should have in the box office. It was a modest hit. I remember seeing this movie like 3 or 4 times in the theater, so I know that I contributed to this film's doing at least modestly well. It was one that really stood with me for a long time. Remo Williams was a favorite of mine in the books. This was a favorite movie of mine, and when I opened up an Arrow during the last Arrow sale, and they had the postcard like they always do, they had postcards of movies that are coming up, and Remo Williams was there, I was immediately, I gotta have this. I gotta have this movie. This was part of my childhood. This is part of my being. And it got me interested into a lot of things. There was the whole like Chun and the nerve thing. I remember being a kid and being interested in that, and that got me interested in like in different things, and learning about like the nervous system, and learning about massage and stuff like that too as well, which is an odd like throw off, but it did. That actually is where my interest in that came from, because when I came here to St. John's, I almost became a masseuse. I went into business instead because money. But overall, as soon as I turned on the movie, as soon as I heard the score, the movie started and I was taken back. It is almost unreviewable for me on a totally, completely blank slate, because it wasn't. It was an amazing film that I loved, and I still love to this day. It's one of my favorites. It's still one of my favorites, and I recommend anybody see this film. And anybody with a soul and a heart has to like Remo Williams. It's just an amazing film. The Adventure Begins. It should have been more. I mean, there was a pilot for a TV series that unfortunately did not go any farther. Or maybe fortunately, because I really like Fred Ward as Remo Williams, and I don't remember liking the pilot that much. But I'd have to rewatch it again, to be honest with you. I think it was called The Prophecy or something like that. But a great film. There's some great features on here. There's a great interview with Joel Grey, of course, who's mostly known nowadays for Cabaret. He acted in the last episode of Dallas as well. Watch Dallas and you'll see it's a very important character. He does a great job. He talks about the film. He talks about like his trepidation about like taking on the role and why he did it, and basically how proud he is. He's very, very proud of doing this film, and and the character that he's done. And that is amazing to see that he is, because this is something that is near and dear to my heart. So to see that he really, really cares about it means a lot, as somebody that went to the theater and idolized the whole film, Remo Williams. And this was one of my favorites. There was a great interview here as well with Carl Fullerton, talking about the makeup and how, you know, the life cast that he did of actual Korean to make sure that he got it down pat, and he did get down pat. Carl Fullerton's a genius. He's very underrated as a makeup artist. He is amazing. You know, we all hear about Savani and we hear about Dick Smith, but we don't hear about Fullerton enough, because he's really, 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 really good. And check out his stuff, check out his body work, and you'll see exactly how good of a of a guy that says he can come in and do anything. And he oftentimes he'll be like pulled in at last minute to do something, and he will work wonders. Next up is an interview with Craig Safan, who was who basically did the score of the film. And like I mentioned on here before, this is one of my favorite scores. And it's got that feel to it. It's got that adrenaline type feel. The score was done with like synthesizer. It was done with full orchestra, and a Korean orchestra as well. He wanted to really get an authentic feel for the film's music, and he does it. This is one of the movies. A lot of movies have like you know, you can listen to this, basically listen to the isolated score on its own type of thing as one of the features. And this is one of the movies where I would actually do that. There actually has an amazing score. I would love to own the score of this film. The biggest feature on here, and one that I think could have been a movie all on its own, could have been its own release, and I would have bought it in a heartbeat. Choking here on some stuff. Was Remo, Rambo, Reagan, and Reds, the 80s action movie explosion. It's a feature-length documentary on the 80s action era. The whole larger-than-life, bloody, kind of like catchphrase, ever-changing, ever-evolving action movies of the 80s. Action movies in the 80s were huge. It was back in the day when there was the VHS explosion. We had horror movies and action movies, and those were the two big genres that people tended to go towards. They talk about Norris on here, Schwarzenegger, talk about Stallone. They even talk about like Michael Dudikoff, American Ninja, some of the other smaller films that were done. But again, for me, on a personal, complete level, Remo Williams isn't. I'm not going to rate it as just the film. I'm going to rate this as the whole package together. And as an Arrow Videos package of Remo Williams, it is a complete 10 out of 10. It is 10 out of 10 bowls of rice. Because you'll understand that if you watch the movie. This is one of the best packages I've ever seen Arrow do. And they put out some really big additions. But you know what? The 3 interviews, the feature-length documentary, the presentation of the film, the fantastic sound on this thing here makes this a must-buy. This goes above the 10 out of 10. This is going on my... This is going on it. This is Professor Pin's picks as a must-buy, as a must-have. It goes beyond the 10. This is something that everybody must own. Get this in your collection. Remo Williams, The Adventure Begins. Sit down and watch it. And devote like an entire morning to it. Watch the documentary. Watch the movie. Watch the features. You will not regret it. You will thank me for this. Have a great Christmas, guys. I need to grab some tea right now because my throat's kind of dry. Have a good one. Giant Lobster Head says hi. Merry Christmas from my better half and my kitty cats, and have a great one.